Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 20 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. Luo Feng was originally enjoying the battle while drinking wine, as there might be conflicts between Sha Kingdom's forces in the future due to his master, the mountain-sitting guest. However, he had no significant hostility towards other cultivators from Sha Kingdom. But when they began slaughtering the weak true gods, Luo Feng's killing intent surged. It's each to their own when nations battle, but to slaughter the weak, what a bunch of scum. Luo Feng's eyes grew cold as he started searching for Yuini's bounty in the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. The bounties in Huyang City listed were all from the Flame Wind Association's Huyang branch. Other large cities or even other nations would not actively send bounties to all clients. Yuini's bounty amounts to 500,000 cosmic sands. Luo Feng instantly looked it up and immediately accepted the bounty. Not everyone could have a bounty, for even the lowest reward required 10,000 cosmic sands. If the mission wasn't completed, the bounty would have to remain with the Flame Wind Pavilion. Thus, the vast majority of eternal true gods had no bounty at all. Up till now, Luo Feng had no bounty on him. This Lord Luo He, just with his domain moves, could kill a top-level eternal true god. Is his mechanical stream secret treasure quite special? Yuini speculated. Some composite mechanical stream secret treasures could refine divine power to match the primal chaos divine power, and when deploying the primal chaos moves, they could display such might. Before his death, the Blood Python Association leader transmitted a message saying that Luo His mechanical stream secret treasure is worth at least 5 million cosmic sands. Perhaps it's true, Yuini thought, which stirred her interest. Yuini glanced below, where at this moment, she only had one subordinate left alive, which was the eternal true god who controlled thunder. This eternal true god, who possessed the mechanical stream secret treasure, core of thunder, had cultivated it through long years to reach an extremely high potential. In terms of strength, he was not inferior to the Blood Python Association leader. But now, with the Huyang City formation suppressing him and being oppressed by the primal chaos domain of Sha Wu wings, he fell to the ground, bound and compressed by the primal chaos currents, unable to move. Lord Yuini, save me! The eternal true god cried out for help through mental transmission. Whoosh! Streams of snow-white silk threads condensed in the void, wrapping around the eternal true god and swiftly flying him away. You go first, I'll try this. Lord Luo He, Yuini, with her frost body, stood in midair and transmitted from afar. Be careful, Lord Yuini, the fleeing thunder eternal true god sighed in relief. Escape. Luo Feng, standing at the temple door, moved. With just one step, using the Myriad Realms escape command he had obtained from Ying, he instantly teleported through the void, emerging near the thunder eternal true god wrapped in abundant snow-white silk threads. No, the thunder eternal true god couldn't believe that Luo Feng had suddenly appeared beside him. HMPH. Luo Feng extended his hand, his 5 fingers sharp as blades, piercing through the wrapped snow-white silk threads and directly into the chest of the eternal true god, seizing his true god's heart. Thump! The true god's heart shattered. Luo Feng also collected the corpse and leftover items, with the snow-white silk threads naturally dissolving into nothingness. Then, Luo Feng looked towards Yuini in the distance. Yuini didn't care about the death of her subordinate. She stared at Luo Feng and said, traversing the void? Does the city owner's mansion trust you that much to give you the power to traverse the void? Even when hiring strong warriors, the city owner's mansion usually remained cautious to prevent the hired from turning against them at the last moment. Yuini, you ready to die? Luo Feng said. I haven't met an eternal true god who can kill me yet. Yuini sneered as she suddenly erupted with numerous cold ice blades around her, blasting the massive Jin Xiao, the 3-sword sky-splitting beast, and the saber-winged devouring insect away. I heard your blade technique has reached the level of the Chaos Realm. Conveniently, I also know a few blade techniques, Luo Feng said. You know blade techniques too. Yuini, with a flash, had already thrown off the massive Jin Xiao, the 3-sword sky-splitting beast, and the saber-winged devouring insect. This left Jin Xiao, Luo Xue, and others feeling somewhat exhausted as, even with controlling Legion's mechanical stream secret treasures, they were still comprehensively outclassed by such a powerful eternal true god. 3 against 1, even with the help of Huyang city formation, they were suppressed. Now, shaking them off was also effortless. Die? Yu Qianyi rushed to attack, concentrating 9 cold ice blades in front of her. The 9 blades, seemingly able to cleave heaven and earth, enveloped her with an unrivaled might. Luo Feng felt that the space around him was completely sealed. With the 9 blades before him, there was no escape. Regarding sneak attacks and assassinations, Yin Kang has an advantage, but in a head-on battle, Yu Qianyi is even more formidable, Luo Feng thought. Unable to avoid the confrontation, he didn't even try to, judging the opponent's momentum through the sensation of the primal chaos domain. Only when the 9 cold ice blades approached did Luo Feng suddenly charge upward, his eyes flashing fiercely, 10 directions infinite. Facing the assault of the 9 incoming cold ice blades, Luo Feng used his godly body as a blade, executing the only purely defensive blade technique from world-breaking 9 blades called 10 Directions Infinite Blade. Buzz 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 tilde tilde tilde, Luo Feng's entire godly body was like a blade, horrific vigor circulating on the surface forming thick layers of blade shadows. The blade shadows layered heavily, making Luo Feng's figure appear blurry. HMPH. Yu Qianyi was confident in her strength, and the 9 cold ice blades aimed to slice through everything, chopping down on Luo Feng. As these blades cut through the layers of blade shadows, their power was significantly reduced, and when they finally struck Luo Feng's godly body, the skin of his thrice-refined perfect divine body showed only some marks which disappeared almost instantly, leaving no trace of any wounds. Using the physical body to execute 10 Directions Infinite Blade, to withstand her blade techniques, it still broke the skin a bit, Luo Feng thought. After over 2 decades of cultivation, Luo Feng was much stronger than when he had first encountered Yin Kang. Thus, he did not use the Duan Mie to burn divine power, merely displaying the capabilities of his thrice-refined perfect divine body. This scene made Yu Qianyi, who had been attacking fiercely, suddenly stop, somewhat shocked. What kind of protective maneuver is this? The heavy blade shadows protecting him, my proud ultimate move, couldn't even injure him. 10 Directions Infinite Blade is still not strong enough, Luo Feng thought. World-breaking 9 blades eternal level 6 blades became increasingly complex the further one progressed, apart from the earlier blade of life and death, return to ruined saber, and reincarnation blade which were relatively simple, the subsequent 3 aspects shadow blade, heaven split in 5 directions blade, and 10 Directions Infinite Blade all involved multiple integrations of concepts, deepening Luo Feng's understanding of the laws of primal chaos. But it was still far from the true Chaos Realm saber technique. Luo He, it seems you have a set of combined mechanical stream secret treasures, adept in domain, protection, and fleeing. Yu Qianyi sneered coldly, what skill is there in relying on treasures? I'm not playing with you today. Whoosh! Yu Qianyi immediately soared into the sky. Thinking of leaving? Luo Feng instantly traversed the void, suddenly appearing right in front of Yu Qianyi as she flew. I knew you would traverse the void. Yu Qianyi was well prepared. At her thought, countless snow-white threads interwoven into a vast net-like trap enveloped Luo Feng, trapping him while she swiftly flew toward the distant night sky. A blade suddenly appeared in Luo Feng's hand, the endless might contained within his thrice-refined body fully infused into this emperor-level blade embryo. Blade light flashed. A blade light that seemed to tear the heavens and the earth emerged, ripping apart the snow-white net and aiming to tear through the fleeing Yu Qianyi. With a nimble dodge, Yu Qianyi barely avoided most of it, but her arm was merely grazed by the blade light and was instantly annihilated. The might of this blade shocked Yu Qianyi. How can it be so powerful? He seems even more fierce than my second brother. Luo Feng followed the blade light, his thrice-refined perfect divine body providing terrifying speed, coupled with the myriad realms' escape commands control over space. He rapidly closed the distance Yu Qianyi couldn't evade. This is bad. Yu Qianyi felt an unstoppable terrifying figure crashing into her. Bang! The frost body was smashed apart, completely shattering. Luo Feng moved through her exploded body before finally stopping, his brow slightly furrowed as he looked around. She crafted a frost body to come and assassinate me. Her true body isn't actually here. Luo Feng carefully sensed all directions. Moreover, she is not within my primal chaos domain. Her true body hiding away, the one coming to battle, was merely a body condensed from the power of frost, making it too difficult to kill her. This was merely a maneuver by an eternal true god. Those ancient primal chaos overlords would spend much thought on life-saving secret laws and even reincarnation techniques. Even a godly king wouldn't dare claim they could completely kill a primal chaos overlord. They might seem dead on the surface, but could resurrect somewhere, or maybe even reincarnate. Like Master Mountain Sitting Guest, who chose reincarnation, severing karma through reincarnation. Unless he exposed himself, no one would recognize him. Thus, the rulers of Sha Kingdom have a formidable hidden enemy. Invading and annexing other divine kingdoms come with many problems. Choosing this path, Sha Kingdom must be prepared to deal with these problems. This time, out of the 5 eternal true gods from Sha Kingdom, only 3 were killed. Luo Feng landed. Truly killing them is indeed not easy. Lord Luo He. The attacking forces of Sha Kingdom are completely routed. The giant Jin Xiao, 3-sword sky-splitting beast, and saber-winged devouring insect arrived excitedly, truly deserving of the title Lord Luo He, utterly overpowering with just one move. Luo Feng wasn't very excited, having accepted Yu Qianyi's bounty, still unable to deal with her effectively. Such a powerful battle fluctuation. Luo Feng sensed other terrifying fluctuations erupting far from Huyang City, especially the one southwest. There must be a battle between 2 supremely powerful beings. Without burning divine power, I might fall short of them. The terrible confrontation in that southwest area exceeded the level of Yu Qianyi and Ying Kang. Molly Xiao, I sense intense fighting in the southwest area of Huyang City. Do you need my help? Luo Feng transmitted, I've already routed Sha Kingdom's forces here. Lord Luo He, please continue to garrison the forbidden area. Sha Kingdom's forces may return to launch a sneak attack at any moment, Molly Xiao responded. Now that Huyang City is under attack from various factions of Sha Kingdom, once the city calms down, Lord Luo He will have completed his employment. Understood, Luo Feng replied. He understood that, on one hand, the city owner's mansion had a detailed plan, and the defending force was sufficiently strong, so his help was not required. On the other hand, as a hired cultivator, he knew the trust the city owner's mansion had in him was limited. I had hoped to exchange blows with a few more masters. What a pity. Luo Feng stepped back to the entrance of the forbidden area and took up his post, beginning to reflect on the previous battle. The divine power of Yu Qianyi was far inferior to his, and even the power of frost unleashed by the mechanical flow secret treasure was not as good as his perfect divine body. Her blade technique, Luo Feng recollected, has a profound influence on space, fundamentally different from the effects of the myriad realms' escape command on space. Luo Feng pondered and understood. The path to the primal chaos laws was not easy. Luo Feng, who had been an eternal true god for just over 2 decades, did not have as much realm accumulation as Yu Qianyi, Yu Qianshu, Shui Yun, and the others. Luo Feng would learn from his opponents, allowing himself to grow faster. We've won this forbidden area. The other 2 areas are still in the midst of battle. The Jin Xiao Legion, the 3-sword sky-splitting beast, and the saber-winged devouring insect were also communicating, feeling much at ease. Lucky for us to have Lord Luo He, otherwise, just us alone would likely have needed to call for reinforcements. Lord Luo He truly holds to his promises, even going so far as to kill several eternal true gods of Sha Kingdom. That eternal true god who wielded thunder, likely had a mechanical flow treasure which also ended up in Lord Luo He's hands. Earning a couple of million cosmic sand for Lord Luo He really seems like a trivial task. They conversed through voice transmission, quite envious. Although the side of the city owner's mansion thought it highly unlikely for Lord Luo He to betray them, they still took precautions. Should Lord Luo He betray them, the city owner's mansion would immediately mobilize forces to support them. Boom! Boom! In the night sky, 2 towering figures collided and battled each other. One was Molly Xiao controlling the Legion mechanical secret treasure, 6-armed divine owl, and the other was the towering true body of Yu Qianshu, who had already started burning divine power, wielding a long staff. With each collision, there might seem to make heaven and earth tremble. This Yu Qianshu truly deserves to be the head of the 5 gods of Yu Qian. His godly body has been cultivated to an inconceivable extent, perhaps not even the unlimited godly bodies can compare. Monarch Xiao was shocked. I'm controlling the legion, and even with the aid of the Huyang city formation, I can only barely injure him. Yu Qianshu did not bother defending, attacking with each move as if causing a great collision between heaven and earth, ferociously and violently. Those light injuries would be instantaneously recovered by his godly body. Monarch Xiao was also quite troubled for a while. Facing me, Divine Monarch Xue only has a realm advantage and poses no threat to my godly body, Yu Qianshu said confidently. As one who possessed a godly body considered among the most formidable at the eternal true god level, and having also cultivated his divine power Dharma to an extremely high level, Yu Qianshu feared nothing once he unleashed his full strength. Yu Qianshu, retreat, Divine Monarch Xue suddenly messaged. Retreat? Yu Qianshu questioned, replying through messaging, why retreat? Yu Qianyi has failed on her end, and over here I've encountered Great General Yong who, from the royal capital of Yu Kingdom. I need to flee too. If you don't retreat, you might be surrounded and attacked. Retreat quickly, Divine Monarch Xue responded. Although Divine Monarch Xue served Marquis Liu Yin of Sha Kingdom, he had never really fought for his life in Huyang City. He had only ever used a fraction of his strength, 5 parts perhaps, which was enough to intimidate Huyang City and to demand an abundance of resources from Marquis Liu Yin. With the conflict between the 2 kingdoms, their backing powers are endless. The more I reveal, the heavier the responsibilities I will have to shoulder, and the stronger the opponents I will encounter. Who knows, I may even die one day. By hiding some of my strength, I can live longer. My goal isn't to fight to the death for Sha Kingdom, but to gain resources for a breakthrough into the primal chaos realm. Divine Monarch Xue was very clear about what he wanted. In the land of origin, generally, each large city is home to several incredibly strong eternal true gods. But Divine Monarch Xue didn't take them seriously, for his realm cultivation had already reached unfathomably deep levels. Even Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi believed that he should be one step into the primal chaos realm. I cultivate both my bloodline and laws, and furthermore, I've deduced 9 moves from the primal chaos realm. Looking at all the eternal true gods in the whole of Sha Kingdom, it's hard to find one with a higher realm than mine. Yet even so, I have still not made a breakthrough. Divine Monarch Xue stared at the formidable being before him. This time in Huyang City, I finally encountered someone whose strength is not inferior to mine. The 3 forbidden lands were guarded by Luo Feng, Monarch Xiao, and an old man with white hair. Great General Yong who was a hidden strength. After the 3 forbidden lands were attacked, Great General Yong who chose to assault Divine Monarch Xue because this time Divine Monarch Xue's unleashed strength was somewhat frightening and threatened the forbidden lands. You won't escape today. Great General Yong who was filled with a killing intent. He had cultivated unlimited godly bodies and was an eternal true god with exceptional talent throughout the entire Yu Kingdom, highly valued by the godly king. He had also learned many skills and laws from the godly king. His cultivation in the realm had already reached a very high level, and he had also comprehended moves from the primal chaos realm. With unlimited godly bodies, the godly king's legacy, realm, will, and treasures, General Yong had no weaknesses. This Xueyun's godly body is not as good as mine. General Yong thought intensely with killing intent, but his accumulated realm cultivation is even above mine, using various moves in an unpredictable and enigmatic manner. Thankfully, the Huyang city formation is aiding me, and today I finally have the chance to kill him. If it weren't for the assistance of Huyang city formation, General Yong would not be able to do anything to his opponent. General Yong, you're just taking advantage of the formation, Divine Monarch Xue said with a slight smile, and suddenly his body transformed into rolling blood waves, sweeping over a vast area in an instant. Luo Feng, with the help of the mechanical flow secret treasure, Life Blood River, could also turn into a stretch of blood river. But Divine Monarch Xue had combined several primal chaos realm moves, allowing his godly body to be completely transformed into an endless blood wave, which was far more exquisite in application than Luo Feng's mere driving of the mechanical flow secret treasure. General Yong was startled. Suppress? With a shout from General Yong, A gigantic, illusory stamp descended in the night sky, slamming down on the blood wave beneath, causing parts of the blood wave to be annihilated. The remaining vast majority of the blood wave spread in all directions, instantly engulfing a range of billions of miles. It devoured all life within those billions of miles, whether it was those living true gods or the true gods of the void space, swallowing everything, with the expanse of the blood wave still expanding. Insolence. General Yong's expression changed as the single wave of the blood wave devoured more than 1 billion creatures. General Yong, I admit you have more treasures than me and have formations to aid you. If we keep this up, I won't be able to escape. But when you finally kill me, how many creatures do you think I can massacre? 500 billion, 1,000 billion? Ha ha, massacring so many creatures, can you handle the consequences? Divine Monarch Xue voice boomed and echoed through every part of the blood wave. As the giant illusory seal crushed the blood wave, the rolling waves continued to sweep across regions. No. Save me. What's happening? Countless creatures faced sudden calamity, vanishing in an instant within the blood wave. Get lost. General Yong's face darkened as the illusory seal in the sky retracted and fell into his palm, and the might of the formation was also withdrawn. Ha ha, General Yong is truly wise. The rolling blood wave scattered and disappeared without a trace. General Yong remained in place, quite unwilling to let it go. General Yong. An elder with white hair approached him. To kill an eternal true god of Sha Kingdom by sacrificing tens of billions, or even hundreds of billions of creatures is simply not worth it. General Yong shook his head. If he really massacred that many, not just me, but all 5 great families will be held accountable. How could Divine Monarch Xue be so powerful? The white-haired elder could hardly believe it. Through the long years until now, he has never revealed such strength. Both sides had been fighting for a long time, with Divine Monarch Xue's side even at a disadvantage. Without the Huyang city formation, I can't even handle him. General Yong was indeed a bit agitated, his renown being what it was, and with the cultivation bestowed by the godly king. This Divine Monarch Xue, not very famous, had accumulated a higher realm than him. General Yong silently sighed. Status doesn't equate to strength. Even some reclusive cultivators can have extremely high realms, and it's also possible for a primal chaos dominator to emerge among them. Never underestimate any opponent. General Yong scanned the surroundings. The residences of the true gods in Huyang City were separated into different areas, but even so, the endless blood wave affected too vast an area, affecting tens of billions of creatures in just a few clashes. About 80 billion creatures died at the hands of Xue, said the white-haired elder with an ugly expression. Such a huge loss must be reported to the Marquis, reported to the royal capital. We did our best. General Yong turned to leave. Though the clashes between primal chaos dominator-level beings could, with a mere opening of the mouth, swallow an entire large city and obliterate all creatures within it. Still, the conflict at the level of eternal true gods, counting tonight's destruction and massacre in Huyang City, with nearly 100 billion creatures perishing at once, still caused significant headaches for the city owner's mansion. Such public killings were impossible to hide. In front of the Forbidden Land's palace gate, Luo Feng sat cross-legged, with Morosa and Mo Yuqingyang standing guard next to him. Brother Luo He, your task is complete, Mo Xiao messaged Luo Feng. Sha Kingdom's forces have completely retreated, they won't make a move easily again. With General Yong's presence, the forces of Sha Kingdom were naturally wary. This time Divine Monarch Xue was able to threaten and force General Yong to withdraw by slaughtering countless creatures. Good. Luo Feng stood up and messaged back, how's the situation this time? Not good, many citizens in the city died, Mo Xiao transmitted, details will probably spread soon. Mo Xiao was quite aware of how informed various factions within Huyang City were. Such a big incident couldn't be kept secret, especially since the Flame Wind Pavilion was extremely adept at gathering intelligence. In many respects, they were stronger than the city owner's mansion. Luo Feng glanced at Morosa and Mo Yuqingyang. We can go back now. Lord Luo He, we owe you a great deal for this time. General Jin Xiao and the 2 leaders of Huyang guards came to see them off. A small matter. Luo Feng nodded, then led Morosa and Mo Yuqingyang onto the flying boat and left. The General Jin Xiao and the two leaders of Huyang guards watched the scene. Our own losses are negligible, but the other two forbidden grounds have suffered considerably, General Jin Xiao spoke, especially Divine Monarch Yun. He has massacred too many creatures this time. After we defeated Yu Tianyi, if we had immediately sent Lord Luo He to support the other forbidden grounds, the outcome might have been different, Gao Shui said. That was not for us to decide. The other leader of the Huyang Guard also shook his head. The affairs of Huyang City were decided by the core figures of the city owner's mansion. Their role was to follow orders. Luo Feng, accompanied by Marosa and Mo Qingyang, steered the flying boat, still on their return journey. Brother Luo He, a major incident has occurred. Jiu messaged Luo Feng. Yong, the great general of Yu Kingdom's capital, appeared within the city and moved to exterminate Divine Monarch Yun. Divine Monarch Yun unleashed strength far beyond the past, resulting in the slaughter of more than 80 billion creatures, which forced great General Yong to retreat. What's the situation? Luo Feng frowned slightly. From the information passed by his master mountain-sitting guest and the Duandong River lineage, he already knew about the cruelty of the land of origin, not to mention the clashes between primal chaos dominators and godly kings. Even conflicts among the uber-powerful eternal true gods could still affect an astronomical number of creatures. I'll send you the details. Jiu immediately sent a complete report. This is the latest intelligence collected by the Flame Wind Pavilion, very detailed. Luo Feng immediately checked the detailed report. Before this, he had not known about Great General Yong being in the city, and in more than 2 decades, he had never once found Divine Monarch Yun. Inside the flying boat, Luo Feng watched the entire intelligence report in detail. The report contained a rather detailed introduction about Great General Yong and even covered the entire process of the Sha Kingdom's forces' attack. As a guardian of a forbidden land, Luo Feng knew less than what was in this report. General Yong from the Yu Kingdom's capital, cultivating unlimited godly bodies, has unfathomable strength. I didn't expect that even with the help of the Grand Formation in Huyang City, he was unable to kill Yun, Luo Feng marveled internally. After this battle, Divine Monarch Yun's fame greatly increased. Whether it was the Yu Kingdom or the Sha Kingdom, they would both value Divine Monarch Yun even more. The next time Yu Kingdom made a move, they would only send a force stronger than General Yong. The Sha Kingdom would also make even more effective use of Divine Monarch Yun. That was something Divine Monarch Yun did not want to see, as his tasks would only become more burdensome and the dangers greater. On the side of the Sha Kingdom's forces, Yun, Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, all 3 of them are still alive. With the Sha Kingdom's style of doing things, they won't let this rest. Luo Feng immediately steered the flying boat straight to where General Yong and Yun had clashed. Master, where are we going? Marosa sensed that their course had changed. To where General Yong and Yun clashed, Luo Feng said, while Marosa appeared thoughtful. A moment later, the flying boat soon reached the site of the battle. Luo Feng saw that a large number of Huyang guards had gathered and already sealed off the area, preventing other citizens inside the city from approaching this place. Please leave immediately. Seeing a flying boat approaching, the Huyang guards immediately came over to drive it away. Luo Feng retracted the flying boat. His invisible domain protected Mo Qingyang, and naturally, Marosa did not need his protection. The Huyang guard squad preparing to drive them away was startled when they saw Luo Feng. Lord Luo He, the Huyang guards were all quite respectful. They knew basic intelligence about all the eternal true gods in Huyang City, so they could recognize him at a glance. When patrolling the whole city, they did not dare provoke eternal true gods. Otherwise, an eternal true god could use a small-scale cosmic domain to hide and silently eliminate them, and the city owner's mansion could not identify the murderer without paying a high price. I'll just take a look here, Luo Feng said. The Huyang guards did not dare to speak further and immediately withdrew. Luo Feng looked ahead. Within the vast area sealed off by the Huyang guards, there were many densely populated residential zones and some family cave mansions, but now the inside was desolate. All dead, without a single survivor. Thick resentment gathered in this area. Over 80 billion true gods were instantly killed, and the anger, unwillingness, despair, and hatred at the moment of their death. All kinds of intents will entangle together, forming a terrible malice. With such resentment, the Huyang guards only dared to seal off the outer perimeter. There would be eternal true gods to come and deal with this malice. This kind of thing is happening everywhere in the land of origin. Not just me, even a godly king cannot change all this. This is the law of the survival of the fittest. Luo Feng silently watched this scene. Although there are laws, the restraining power of the laws is ultimately limited. Like when primal chaos overlords devour the creatures of an entire large city, aren't they still at ease? Even a Mei Wuqi who massacres citizens could escape the strict punishment of the laws if Luo Feng did not intervene. Brother Luo He, a tall figure, flew over from afar. Luo Feng turned to look, and the person approaching was Shong Tenyang. Usually full of enthusiasm, Shong Tenyang now had a trace of sorrow. "You're here too?" Luo Feng said to him. "I'm here to bid farewell to my disciples." Shong Tenyang looked at the area where resentment soared to the sky, sighing, "Tonight, 8,039 of my heavenly flame sect disciples died. They were living in this area." Luo Feng was taken aback. After all, the heavenly flame sect, established by Shong Tenyang over the long years, had numerous disciples, and it was normal to have over 8,000 in this area. He had also lived in the heavenly flame sect for a period of time, and maybe among these 8,039 disciples were some who had seen him from a distance. Most of these disciples were quite mediocre, but they were still very hard-working, trying to seize every opportunity. Shong Tenyang lamented, "In my heavenly flame sect, as long as someone can pass the strict tests, anyone has the chance to become my direct disciple. Among these 8,039 disciples, there was one who was my direct disciple, named Mengsha. Mengsha lost his parents when he was just a child. He joined the heavenly flame sect when he grew up, working extremely hard. He learned every aspect of artifact refining diligently and finally became my direct disciple after passing the strict tests," Shong Tenyang recounted. "Who would have thought that tonight, he would be caught in the crossfire and die?" Luo Feng silently looked at the vast area now only filled with malice. "I received intelligence that Sha Kingdom's leaders this time, Xue Yun, Yu Qianshu, and Yu Qianyi, are all still alive." Shong Tenyang looked at Luo Feng. "The report states that brother Luo He, you also took action this time." "I clashed with Yu Qianyi. He is quite powerful. Yu Qianshu will be even stronger." Luo Feng said, "Especially Xue Yun is much stronger than what the previous report stated. And he's much crazier than before." Shong Tenyang looked at the area ahead. In the past, he was very restrained and never carried out such indiscriminate slaughtering. But this time, it affected over 80 billion. And all three of them are still alive. I'm afraid there will be other actions. The struggle between the Sha Kingdom and the Yu Kingdom will continue for a long time, Luo Feng said. "Yes, it will continue indefinitely. This is my homeland. I really don't want to see it destroyed by the conflicts between the two countries." Shong Tenyang looked at the area. Luo Feng and Shong Tenyang stood shoulder to shoulder, looking at the vast expanse. After a long while, they parted and went their separate ways. Not only Luo Feng and Shong Tenyang came here, but eternal true gods from all sides of Huyang City were shocked by this conflict. After all, while conflicts had always existed over the long term, they had never been so intense. The appearance of General Yong and the strength and madness of divine Monarch Xue both made the various forces within the city tremble. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The heavenly flame sect. Shong Tenyang had returned, and he summoned an old servant. Sect leader, a metallic life form greeted with respect. "Uncle Chiu," Shong Tenyang smiled at him, "I need your help with something." "Sect leader, you always insist on being so courteous." Uncle Chiu grinned broadly, his golden face beaming with a smile. Shong Tenyang looked at Uncle Chiu. When he first returned alone to his hometown of Huyang City, he scoured the entire city only to find his former family servant, Uncle Chiu. Later on, when he established the Heavenly Flame sect, Uncle Chiu became the one he trusted the most, handling all sorts of big and small matters for the sect. "This secret letter I've given you, once my cause and effect dissipates, you must immediately pass it on to the 5 individuals listed," Shong Tenyang said. "Cause and effect dissipates." The metallic life form Uncle Xue paused and looked at Shong Tenyang, sect leader. You've always enjoyed teaching those disciples, always enjoyed making friends. This world is still wonderful and interesting, don't give up. I'm not seeking death, I'm just preparing to do something quite dangerous, Shong Tenyang said. Dangerous? Sect leader, must you do it? Uncle Xue looked at him. This matter is very meaningful, Shong Tenyang said with a brilliant smile. After I return to Huyang City, I hope that every day henceforth would be meaningful. This matter, I must do it. Having said that, Shong Tenyang turned and left. Sect leader. Uncle Xue watched the departing figure of Shong Tenyang, tears streaming down. Dream Flower Tower. Shong Tenyang had come here. Tenyang, why have you come? Dream Flower Tower Master came to see him with a smile. As one of the two eternal true gods who were most infatuated with her in the entire city, the Dream Flower Tower Master still cared a lot about Shong Tenyang. Just wanted to see you, Shong Tenyang looked at the Dream Flower Tower Master. The godly body of the Dream Flower Tower Master contained the source of law that she had comprehended. In her presence, one could naturally see the figure that most desired to be seen in their heart. In Shong Tenyang's eyes, the Dream Flower Tower Master had already taken on the appearance of his wife, with the breath and smile of his wife. Just staring at me like this. Dream Flower Tower Master laughed. Shall I join you for a few drinks? Sure, Shong Tenyang nodded with a smile. Do you know what happened tonight? That divine Monarch Xue slaughtered over 8 billion creatures within Huyang City, Dream Flower Tower Master said in surprise. It's really terrifying. The days to come in Huyang City will probably not be peaceful. It is terrifying. Shong Tenyang raised his glass. Let's drink. So they chatted intermittently, drinking wine. Time passed without knowing how long, and Shong Tenyang bid his farewell and left. The Dream Flower Tower Master personally saw him off. Strange. Dream Flower Tower Master watched as Shong Tenyang disappeared into the night sky, slightly puzzled. Shong Tenyang today, his words are different from usual. Then she thought no more of it and returned to her Dream Flower Tower. Flying in the night sky. Shong Tenyang looked at the bustling city, a place filled with many beautiful memories for him. All the treasures and cosmics and I have in the Dark Hall. If I should die, please pass them to Lord Luo He, Shong Tenyang said upon seeing a distant ordinary cave mansion, immediately contacting the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Long ago, he had placed all his precious treasures and cosmic sand in the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Whoosh! Shong Tenyang flew to the front of that cave mansion. Open the door, Shong Tenyang urged. The door to the cave mansion opened, and Shong Tenyang flew in. In the ordinary cave mansion, in front of a pavilion, Sang Shueyun was sitting there, despondently drinking alone. You've come, Sang Shueyun looked at him. In the entire Huyang City, only Shong Tenyang could easily enter Sang Shueyun's mansion. Shong Tenyang also sat down next to him. Join me in a drink, Sang Shueyun tossed a wine flask over. Shong Tenyang caught the wine flask and looked at it. Brother Sang, back then you and I were both alone in Huyang City. Seeing you, I feel as if I'm looking at my own shadow. You, like me, are infatuated with the Dream Flower Tower Master. You, like me, are unattached to anything. No, you have attachments. You established the Heavenly Flame sect and trained a large number of artifact refining disciples, Sang Shueyun said. I always thought you were just like me, Shong Tenyang looked at Sang Shueyun. We are indeed the same. You are also my only friend in Huyang City, Sang Shueyun looked at him, even considered my only friend in this world. Actually, you and I are different, Shong Tenyang said softly. I gradually realized that you are indifferent to everything. You wouldn't care even if the world was destroyed. Even if it came to me, if you wanted to kill, you would not hesitate. Sang Shueyun frowned as he looked at him. Brother Shong, what are you talking about? In the entire Huyang City, the only one you can't fool is me. Shong Tenyang looked at Sang Shueyun. I really didn't want to expose you if you hadn't started to go mad. Sang Shueyun fell silent as he looked at him, his eyes growing cold. Divine Monarch Xue, I'm not mistaken, am I? Shong Tenyang looked at him. This episode is end here.